Okay, this is a remake of a film that came out just literally 3 years ago. Not even 3 entire years ago, 2007.
Body's not even cold.
Right. Body is still kicking around in the coffin there. And it was this really dry British farce about this funeral that takes place at this very proper English estate, and all kinds of crazy hijinks and shenanigans ensue, including a gay dwarf and hallucinogenic drugs. And they remade it now with a predominantly black cast led by Chris Rock, Tracy Morgan, Martin Lawrence, Danny Glover, and weirdly, Neil LaBute is your director. Let's look at a clip.
Brian, who's this?
You know, I asked myself the same thing when my dad passed.
I said, who is this man? No, who's in this coffin? Because that's not my father. You got Jackie Chan in there! I cannot wait for this day to be over. Mom won't stop crying.
Hey, Mama.
Ryan hasn't helped out.
When's your birthday?
I turned 18 last week.
Well, that's my favorite number, girl.
I need you to pick up Uncle Russell.
We're beginning to get a sense of it, although that I don't think that Jackie Chan line was in the movie, but that's a whole other thing.
No,
It
It
was.
was in
I
the
have vague
movie.
recollections
Oh, really?
of it.
I
Yeah.
do distinctly remember that. It was in the movie.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now we have slightly divergent views on this. You know what? I know what my views are. I have a sense of what Christie's are, but I don't know what Matt's are. So Matt, you start us off then.
I didn't really enjoy this movie. I thought that it was kind of slow. And the biggest problem I had is that for a movie that was supposed to be a comedy, even a black comedy, no pun intended,
say,
kind of
a
a
dark
yeah,
comedy
a dark
instead.
comedy. I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
a dark comedy. I didn't think it was very funny. I found it was mostly toothless. Really, I mean, you've got Chris Rock and Martin Lawrence, who are known for really bringing this really edgy, offensive comedy in the past, which can be really hilarious. And there's none of that in this, right? Nothing at all. These guys are the two really probably more responsible, more normal characters in the movie, which, I don't know, is that casting against type? I don't know. I didn't find a lot of laughs. There were a couple. I will say that I thought Tracy Morgan as kind of one of the cousins, I think he was playing.
He's a friend of the family.
A friend of the family.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan is Tracy Morgan, and that's hilarious. And I thought James Marsden was really good. That was, not a performance I expected out of him, playing the role that Alan Tudyk had played in the original. And watching him freak out on hallucinogens he went crazier than I think I'd ever seen him go before, and I thought that was funny. But the rest of the movie, I didn't really care for it. I found it I didn't find it, I wouldn't say boring as such. I wouldn't say that it was a waste of time. It's the kind of thing that if it was on TV at, as I'm getting my oil changed and there's no clicker, I might as well watch it instead of read a magazine, but...
A rousing endorsement.
And there's your blurb in the ad.
Exactly.
Right there.
It's better than reading the 6-month-old magazine, but not much.
So Matt didn't see the...
What's your
Did
number?
you?
What's your rating?
My number is low. It's about a 3.
Wow,
A
you're
3.
tough.
Wow,
You're the real
devastating.
critic in the room here. You're tough today.
Okay, all right. Chrissy, hit me with the opposite.
Okay, so here's why I didn't hate it, which is my blurb, by the way. I reviewed the original, and the original was really all over the place in terms of tone. Like, it was super dry British humor, and then really wacky and slapsticky, and then just kind of draggy at times, and then sentimental at other times. Frank Oz directed the original, and it didn't really know what it wanted to be. This one worked because at least they go for it. I mean, like, Neil LaBute goes for it with the wacky, slapsticky humor, with a lot of physical stuff. The Peter Dinklage character, who is in both movies, the diminutive stranger at the funeral who shakes things up with this black male secret. He's very funny in both. Alan Tudyk was great in the original, and James Marsden pretty much does the exact same thing, but it's kind of a can't-miss role. I mean, he gets to freak out on drugs, and he's naked, and that works and is very, very funny. There's one scene that is also in both movies, which is completely unnecessary and so gross. The whole toilet thing with
Right.
Danny Glover, oh my God, no, once was more than enough. So I think it works just comparatively because at least like tonally it's consistent. So I gave it a 5.8. I laughed enough. Again, Tracy Morgan showing up and just being Tracy Morgan is fine for me for an hour and a half. So I'm not giving it a big rousing endorsement, but comparatively it is better.
Right. I'm going to have to lay down the hammer on this one. No, not having it. Don't get tricked by Christy. Don't see this movie. Don't see it. Don't see it. Now, was there 4 or 5 funny lines? Yes. I mean, I almost counted. I was like, look, I laughed out loud. That was good. Okay. But the rest of the hour and a half or 2 hours, I think it was too long. I think it was like nearly 2 hours, was so painful. I'm like, please end it. I feel like this is my funeral. I can't take it anymore. And yeah, the guy freaking out on the drugs, like, it was funny in parts, but then it's like I've seen it a million times in the movies. Oh my God, he's high. Oh, it's crazy. He got naked. I didn't see that coming. I mean, and then the little people. He's
a dwarf.
No.
Say it. Take it back. He's a dwarf.
All right,
Peter
fine.
Dinklage can be really funny.
He is
right?
very funny. Great
my,
voice,
my
great
biggest
presence.
problem.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with this movie is I felt like it had such a great cast that almost everybody's wasted. That they, Danny Glover is the old man. Like all you see, Danny Glover comes in and he does one note, right? Angry old man. Keith David comes in as the harried preacher, and Keith David, who's great, I love Keith David, is doing one note. Peter Dinklage kind of doing one note, and you just see one note out of all these guys. Same thing with Luke Wilson, and I thought, as you're talking about the physical comedy and it getting kind of screwy, I feel like none of those guys, even Chris Rock, even Martin Lawrence, don't really get to join in that. Not that much.
No, look, I'm not having this conversation. Okay, look, like Keith David, the whole time, the priest, he's like, "Can we get this funeral going?" I mean, just walk out. I mean, it's so.
But he has to be the straight man. Someone's got to be the straight man to try to hold it all together in the middle of a farce. It's a farce. It's the whole point.
Yeah, it's cliched, and then when they try to get sentimental, it totally flops. I didn't find it sentimental. The ending scene was, I thought, disastrous. So now that you told me about the original, which I didn't know about, I'm so glad I didn't watch the original.
Yeah, this is better.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Yeah,
okay.
This is better.
All right. So
it's only 92 minutes long, also, by the way. The original was 91. This is 92.
Oh, really?
That's how verbatim it is. Also,
I thought it was longer than
well,
Avatar.
that's part of it too. It felt like it. Dean Craig, who wrote the original, also wrote this one. It's like the exact same script. I forgot to mention that. There are chunks of dialogue that are like verbatim.
Yeah, look, here's when if I was still like, and maybe, when they threw the dwarf, I was out. Okay.
But that's like the crucial, pivotal part of the whole thing.
It's not
he
funny, though.
blackmails him.
I know, but it's not funny. The throwing dwarves have never been funny, and then it's not funny in this movie. So anyway, I couldn't hate it more because there was 4 or 5 lines that I actually laughed at. I was merciful and gave it a 1.5.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay. So now that brings the rating, the average rating for all of us, down to a 3.5. Wow. So not a ringing endorsement if you're at, Jiffy Lube on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, we're not far off the tomato meter. The tomato meter right now is at about 40%. So it's been pretty low. Most of the critics that we've seen on the site are saying it's not good.
Okay.